So when they aren't raising taxes, they're effectively trying to ban products and force you to purchase it from them. And yes, I'm talking about California, because Governor Gavin Newsom signed a new bill effectively integrating the hemp industry into the existing cannabis market. Now, some folks are calling this a win, but me, I'm not so sure. But as usual, I'm going to tell you guys what both sides are saying and, of course, give you the bottom line.
We recognized here in California we needed to do more to regulate the hemp space. You'll see gummies like this. I mean, if you didn't immediately think, is that a Disney product, your eyes didn't deceive you. These products were just picked up yesterday by my staff just down the block. Not in a regulated environment, an environment that's available to our kids, available to anyone. THC, 10 milligrams. You'll see gummies like this. I mean, if you didn't immediately think, is that a Disney product, your eyes didn't deceive you. It's a disgrace and it's a shame. And the industry bears full responsibility for not policing itself, for the proliferation of these intoxicating products that are hurting our children.
So California is coming after these products, specifically Governor Gavin Newsom, and this is not the first time that he's actually done that, but it is the first time that a bill of this sort has been signed into law over in California, one that integrates the hemp and the cannabis markets and brings them both together. Now I'm going to show you guys what this means, but like I said, this is not the first time that Governor Gavin Newsom has picked a fight with the hemp industry over in California, because just about a year ago, he actually issued an emergency ban on all hemp THC products in California.
Products with THC are now illegal in California. Governor Newsom signed the bill into law this week. Sellers must stop selling any industrial hemp food, beverage, or dietary product with THC intended to be consumed. Sales to people under the age of 21 are also banned for these products, and servings are now limited to 5 per package. The regulations do not ban hemp-derived CBD products with no detectable THC per serving. Cannabis products are not impacted.
So make no mistake, this is an attack on the hemp industry. And while at first glance this may seem like a good thing, I'm gonna break down why I'm not so sure whether it's a good thing or if it's all for profit. Now, according to Governor Gavin Newsom, and I quote, "We are continuing to place the safety of every Californian first. For too long, nefarious hemp manufacturers have been exploiting loopholes to make their intoxicating products easily available to our most vulnerable communities, and that stops today." And this follows the governor's emergency order last year, which I just showed you guys, and that outright prohibited hemp products with any trace amounts of THC from being sold, which industry stakeholders warned could devastate the marketplace. Now, the thing here is that it's not just THC, it also covers other hemp-derived cannabinoids, and under this new bill, intoxicating hemp products that meet certain regulatory requirements will be able to be sold at licensed cannabis retailers with age restrictions and testing rules. So it sounds great. Age restrictions, I'm all for that, and testing, that's also a good idea. Now, the key provisions of this law actually take effect in January of 2028, and basically any hemp products with any cannabinoids other than CBD must comply with the state's current medical and recreational herb laws. Now, as always, we hear them talking about protecting the kids, making sure it does not get into the hands of children, and protecting communities, and that's exactly what they say right here. They say bad actors have abused state and federal laws to sell intoxicating hemp products in their state. Our first job is to protect kids and our communities. But it seems to me like there may be a little bit of profit chasing in there, especially considering the fact that California just put a pause on that tax hike, which they themselves implemented and was set to go in force just a few weeks ago.
Another shakeup for California's cannabis industry. A move that could save jobs, keep dispensaries open, and cut into the black market. On Monday, Governor Newsom signed a bill, AB 564, to roll back cannabis taxes. It undoes a hike from this summer when rates jumped from 15 to 19%.
It was definitely hurting, and we were waiting to see what they were going to do with this tax change.
Starting October 1st, the excise tax drops back down to 15%, and it stays there through 2028. But not everyone's cheering. Critics warn lowering the tax could shrink funding for programs like childcare, education, and community reinvestment.
I'm just kind of weary, that it's going to tip over on other ends.
So you guys heard it there for yourselves. Those taxes are all being used for these noble programs, and they all sound really rewarding and really good for people. But as we've seen in other other states, sometimes these taxes actually go to other places and sometimes they end up in back pockets of some of these politicians. Now, there is another clip that I want to run for you guys and break down why I think that this is all about the profits. But before we do, just a quick reminder, if you're getting value from this video, please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support us further, join the ICANN VIP Bean Club or just buy us a cup of coffee. And if you happen to be a home gardener, try the ICANN Organics, use the code LEGAL, it works on the bundle and the beans.
These gummy bears.
Friday, Governor Gavin Newsom introducing emergency regulations banning products containing THC from being sold outside of dispensaries.
We want these products off the shelf. We want the retailers, the grocers to get them off themselves today.
Officials say the new rules are aimed particularly at protecting children from potentially harmful health effects of intoxicating hemp products.
I mean, I don't know how you know or realize this is a hemp product. It says tune-up, sparkling water. I mean, you can barely find that it's THC in there.
And it's not just THC. The tougher regulations would expand the number of psychoactive cannabinoids that will need to be undetectable in order to be sold outside of dispensaries.
CDPH, determining based on science, has added another 30 that go into that undetectable sense.
And as far as the public's perspective, we spoke with people outside a Mill Valley grocery store about the potential regulations.
I think that THC can be really beneficial for people, but as far as like children getting their hands on it, I think that that could be potentially controversial.
THC, I wasn't aware of that, but definitely has to be regulated and monitored. And
do you think it should even be in stores that, like a grocery store?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Why?
And from parents and grandparents to pet parents.
This is my child, so I don't have human children, but I sure wouldn't want my children taking in THC without just by chance.
But the governor getting some pushback Friday from the industry. The U.S. Hemp Roundtable saying it's exploring legal options. A statement reading in part, Newsom has decided to unilaterally destroy countless small businesses and farmers across California. We will not let this stand without a fight. The governor, however, quite clear.
We don't want to kill the hemp industry. We want the hemp industry to be regulated. It was intended not for intoxicating products.
Now, like I always say on the show, I'm going to show you guys what both sides are saying and give you guys the bottom line. And as was clear from that clip when Governor Gavin Newsom put in place those emergency rules banning THC hemp, so much so that he quickly faced lawsuits.
New tonight, a legal battle brewing over emergency help regulations proposed by Governor Newsom.
Advocates say the rules would hurt people with disabilities who rely on medical CBD products. Your reporter Ashley Sharp is getting answers.
It's been life-changing for us.
Jana Adams' daughter Brooke first started having violent seizures at 3 months old. Not one medication helped until they tried CBD.
She's gone 3.5 months with no seizures. And so that's incredible.
The Northern California family says new emergency regulations on the hemp industry proposed by Governor Gavin Newsom are well-intended, but could have devastating consequences if they cut off access to CBD products for some of the state's most vulnerable.
You know, it's not just for kids with medical needs, it's also for veterans. There's 5 million people in California that take CBD.
Newsom wants to crack down on dangerous, unregulated THC-infused products like Delta-8 that are intoxicating and often marketed to kids.
You see so many of these products specifically in and around in grocery stores near high schools, near middle schools.
CBD advocates say they support regulations, but call these too broad.
We're the collateral damage of these state policies that are wiping out the whole category instead of just wiping out Delta-8, if that's their issue.
And there you go. That's something we see across multiple states. Instead of trying to deal with the issue, if the issue is Delta-8, or the issue is in fact it getting into the hands of kids, then put in place ID checks, ID requirements, rather than just trying to ban everything. Now that said, where are we at? Let's bring it full circle. Because like I said at the top of the show, Governor Gavin Newsom signed a bill to integrate the hemp and marijuana markets together. Now I'm going to give you guys my thoughts as to why I think this all comes down to money and generating profit for the state. But before we do, let's hear what Shaw Dales from the Dales Report has to say, because he breaks it down based on what will happen to different folks.
So based off this, let's now talk about the winners and the losers. One, consumers. This is a win because if you're buying something in California, you'll know it's been tested. You'll know the THC content is indeed accurate. You'll know it's not being made in some back room with no oversight. Also, licensed dispensaries. They win too. For years, they've been bleeding business to gas stations and vape shops selling hemp products that weren't taxed or tested. Now, if a product can get you high, it needs to go through the regulated system. So this indeed levels the playing field. How about hemp businesses? This is where the pain lands. If you've built a company on those gray area loopholes, you're facing a choice. Either move into the regulated market or watch your business shrink. So let's face it, it's not going to be an easy transition for them, and for many, it may not even be possible. But I'll say this, I don't feel bad for these actors in the space. Selling intoxicating products without age checks or proper testing, that's not innovation, it's cutting the corners. And I think a lot of you will probably agree with me on this.
Now, Shardales raises a few good points there, and some of them I agree with, and some of them I'm a little bit more skeptical about. Now, the age checks and age requirements, I'm all for that. These stuff should not be sold to kids, especially if they're being sold at corner stores or smoke shops. Now, that being said, despite what you may think about Delta 8, there are tons of folks who actually use those products for medical purposes. I myself may not use it, but there are people who drop comments on the channel all the time saying that they use those hemp-derived cannabinoids. Now, like I said, I like to take emotion out of things and give you guys the bottom line, especially based on what both sides are saying. And if you guys were paying attention, you guys would have seen that that tax hike in California was paused, and because of that, they're obviously going to lose some of those taxes that they thought they were going to get or they were going to generate from that tax increase. So what do? You widen the net of the amount of products that you can actually tax, and that's what California has just done. So whereas before some of these products were not being taxed, but they were technically legal under the 2018 Farm Bill, we're now flipping the script because you have to legally sell those products at a dispensary, and a dispensary falls under the regulated tax system of California. So you guys can see how those products are now going to be subject to those local, state, and county taxes. So something which may have cost you about $20 back then may cost you closer to $40 pretty soon. But at the end of the day, that's what I think about it. It's a little bit of a catch-22. Again, I'm all for ID checks, age requirements, and also testing. These things are really important. People need to know what they're purchasing. And if someone expects to get Delta 9, the original good stuff, and instead they get some synthetic hemp-derived cannabinoid Delta 8, I can see why people will be upset. But saying it's all about public safety and under the guise of protecting kids, when you all know that at the end of the day, the taxes are going to increase because the amount of products that you're taxing are also going to increase. So that's just my thought on things. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Now, you guys may have missed this, and if you have, I don't know what you're doing, because the federal government is currently shut down, and that means a few shakeups for the cannabis industry. So if you haven't seen that video, check it out because it's coming up right now.